Thousands of years ago, when ice covered the earth and the world still had no name, a mother ran through the snow with her children. She wasn't running for food. She wasn't running for shelter. She was running because something was hunting her. The wind lashed her face like blades. The little girl, wrapped in furs, shivered against her chest. The eldest son moved forward behind her with a broken spear in his hands. At her side, a primitive dog growled, staring into the darkness. Then something fell from the sky. An invisible shadow crashed onto the frozen remains of a mammoth and snapped them as if they were dry branches. The mother stopped. The dog barked. For a second, amidst the snow and the fog, a tall, motionless, impossible figure appeared. It wasn't a bear. It wasn't a wolf. It wasn't any animal the earth had ever created. It was a hunter, and it had chosen them. The mother didn't understand what that creature was, but she understood one thing. If they stayed there, they would die. She gripped her daughter tighter and pushed her son forward. The dog ran ahead, sniffing the ice, searching for a safe path through the storm. The family moved across the white tundra. Every step was pain. Every breath burned. The cold beat at their fingers, their lips, and their bones. But hunger and fear weren't the worst of it. The worst part was knowing that something was watching them. In the distance, among the black trees, the mother found strange tracks marked in the snow. They were deep, spaced out, and heavy. They didn't follow the pattern of any known animal. They seemed to appear and disappear, as if the creature didn't spend all its time walking on the ground. The dog approached one of the tracks and backed away with a low growl. The mother looked up. From the branches of a withered tree hung animal remains. Bones, skins, skulls. They hadn't been eaten. They were arranged, like trophies. The mother pulled her children close. That thing didn't hunt out of hunger. It hunted by choice. The storm began to swell behind them. A grey wall surged across the plain, swallowing the mountains. The mother spotted a cave on the other side of a frozen river. It was their only chance of surviving the night. But the ice was thin. The girl took a step and the ground groaned. Before she could fall, the dog shoved her with its body. The ice split beneath his paws, and the black water appeared below. The mother lunged, grabbed the dog by the neck, and dragged it back. The animal panted, soaked and shivering, but alive. The eldest son looked at the river with terror. The mother couldn't carry everyone. She couldn't turn back. She couldn't wait. She tore a long branch from a dry bush, laid it across the ice, and began to crawl forward on her knees, distributing her weight. Her son followed suit. The little girl clung to her back. The dog walked behind slowly, with its ears pinned back. The ice groaned beneath them. 1, 2, 3 steps. Suddenly a stone fell from the mountain and struck the frozen river. It was no accident. The mother looked up, atop a rock. Camouflaged against the snow, stood the hunter, almost entirely invisible. Still, watching. It could have killed them right then and there. But it didn't. It only wanted to see if they survived. The mother grit her teeth, kept moving, and managed to cross. On the other side, the dog sniffed at something buried in the snow. It was a strange object, smooth and dark, like a mask from another world. The mother barely touched it, and behind her the air shifted. The hunter was there. The mother didn't scream. There was no time to scream. She grabbed her children and ran toward the cave. Inside, the world seemed safer. There was no wind. There was no snow. Only darkness, but the darkness hid things, too. The eldest son lit a small ember with trembling hands. The light revealed walls covered in markings, strange drawings, figures of animals, mammoths, giant wolves, saber-toothed cats, and humans. The mother realized they hadn't found refuge. They had entered the hunter's lair. The girl pointed to something among the stones. A small object was glowing with a blue light. The son touched it. The sound was barely a hum. But outside, in the middle of the storm, the hunter turned its head. Now it knew where they were. The mother took mud, ash, and dried blood from the cave floor. She covered the object until its glow was extinguished. Then she covered her skin and that of her children with the dark mixture. She didn't know what the creature was looking for, but she had learned something. It didn't hunt with its eyes alone. The dog took its place at the entrance. It growled. Snow began to drift inside. A metallic claw appeared at the mouth of the cave. Then another the hunter entered. It was taller than any man. Its body seemed made of muscle, bone, and armor. Its breathing didn't sound like an animal's. It was deep, controlled, almost mechanical. The mother pressed her children against the frozen wall. She covered their mouth with her hands. She quieted her own breathing. The hunter moved forward slowly. Its face moved from side to side, searching for heat, scent, fear. It passed right by them, very close. The girl trembled. The hunter stopped. It turned its head toward her. The dog lunged. The fight exploded inside the cave. It wasn't beautiful. It wasn't heroic. It was brutal. The dog beat the hunter's arm with all its might. The creature slammed it against a rock, but the animal stood up once more. It was bleeding. It was limping. It was panting, but it kept going. The mother understood. The dog wasn't trying to win. It was trying to buy them time. She pushed her children toward a narrow crevice at the back of the cave. The boy resisted. He didn't want to leave the dog. The mother covered his mouth, looked him in the eyes, and forced him to move on. The hunter lifted the dog from the floor. The animal, still hanging on, bit into a piece of his armor. Something snapped. Hot steam hissed out. For the first time, the hunter roared. The mother and children disappeared through the crack. The dog fell to the ground. Still, the hunter raised its weapon, but it didn't fire. It looked at the dog. The animal tried to stand once more, not out of hate, not out of instinct, for family. The hunter tilted its head. It did not understand that kind of strength. The mother and her children emerged through another opening in the cave. Outside, the storm was a white monster. They had a chance. They could escape. But then they heard a whimper, weak, broken. The dog was still alive. The girl looked at her mother. So did her son. The mother closed her eyes for a moment. Then she left the girl with her brother, took a lit torch, and went back inside. She couldn't leave him behind. Inside the cave, the hunter stood by the wounded dog. The mother moved forward slowly. Her body was trembling, but she didn't back down. She lowered the torch. She didn't attack. She didn't plead. She knelt beside the dog and placed a hand on its chest. Its heart was still beating. The hunter raised its weapon toward her. The mother shielded the dog with her body. Then, at the entrance of the cave, her children appeared. The boy held the broken spear. The girl held a stone. They were small. They were terrified. They couldn't defeat that creature, but they had come back. The hunter looked at them. It looked at the mother. It looked at the mother. It looked at the dog. And in that moment, it stopped seeing prey. It saw a pack, united, weak apart, unbreakable together. Slowly, the hunter lowered its weapon. But the mountain roared. The storm shook the cave. The ceiling began to shatter. Enormous stones fell between them and the exit. The mother carried the wounded dog. Her son helped her. The girl ran ahead. A giant rock broke loose above the entrance. The family wasn't going to make it in time. Then the hunter moved. With impossible strength, he braced the stone upon his shoulders and opened the gap between death and life. The mother looked at him. For the first time, she didn't see just a monster. She saw a hunter who had understood something. She emerged with her children. The dog breathed weakly in her arms. Behind them, the cave filled with dust, snow, and darkness. The family walked until the storm was left behind. At dawn, the world was silent. The mother forged ahead through the snow. Her son helped her support the dog, who was limping but still alive. The girl walked beside her, clinging to her mother's furs. On the peak of a mountain far away, a figure watched them. The hunter was still there. He didn't fire. He didn't follow. He only marked the stone with a strange symbol, a circle, 4 small lines, and an animal's print. The mother found the mark later. She didn't know how to read it. She didn't know where that creature had come from. She didn't know if it would ever return. But she understood enough. That night, they didn't survive by being the strongest. They survived because no one was abandoned. And in a world where everything hunted to live, a mother, 2 children, and a dog taught a predator from the stars the meaning of family.